everybody? Welcome to the Fatherhood Experience, episode number 10. We are back here at Famous Barbershop, the only place to have the conversation we're going to be having today. My name is Dr. D, the Fatherhood Practitioner, CEO and founder of Dad's Doing It. I'm going to kick it around to the fathers I have with me today to introduce themselves.
What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Larry, owner of Famous Barbershop.
Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Hampton, local realtor and fellow dad.
Derek Johnson, local realtor and fellow dad.
Ismael Santiago. I'm in retail management, father of 6, and also a grandfather of 1.
Got a grandfather in the group. That's what's up. Again, everybody, welcome. Today's topic is on fatherhood and religion, what we choose to believe in and what we choose to pass along to our children, right? So I think this is actually a unique mix because I think you're going to hear a couple different perspectives. So I want to open up the floor. What do you guys, what do you guys believe in? What guides you in terms of how you see values, morals, and things like that. What guides you there?
So for me, I would say that has been quite the evolutionary change, especially within the last year or so, where I probably fell down because I've always believed in God, right? And I would pray and all this stuff, and I still do pray, but like as of lately, I don't call him God or whoever it may be. I choose not to say that word, and then for various reasons and things that I'm like digging up and finding, I choose to know him as Yahuwah and everything. And you can look that up and everything, and pretty much that's kind of what I believe in growing up. I felt like just to go into where I'm going, where I'm at today, I kind of always felt like religion and that stuff was kind of forced on me, having to go to church and what the idea of being a religious person was, where today I still have these opposing conversations with my mom because my sisters have this idea of what faith is, and I have my own idea of what faith is. But I would say I've had a lot of change, and more so in the recent last year, just doing my own research and reading my own little books and scriptures that I've wanted.
Own self-development.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I can see that. I don't know about what's the name you said? Yahuwah. I don't know.
Sounds rather provocative.
Like I just remember like growing up in like old school Southern churches, right? Now, not down south. I'm talking about like even like up here, like it was a church I remember my grandparents taking me to, especially my grandmother. It was like just something about a Christian background that I saw growing up, like. It was something about the way the preacher put a spin on his word that made me say, okay, you know what? That's interesting. But then there was one part of my life where I thought like I was a Muslim, not so much from the eating pork side, but from the perspective of like all like the self-development stuff I was listening to, like understanding of some of the stuff that, cause I'm a big fan of Malcolm X's autobiography, Malcolm X's book, Self-Development, and then like that was his religion. And then I'm like, no, I'm a Christian, I remember one time we went to church, came back home, and the preacher was talking about Christian and how you shouldn't listen to rap music, right? I legit went home, threw out rap music, Nas's Nostradamus album, threw it out. And I'm like, I just spent money on that, man. But I was into it. And I'm like, so right now I consider myself Christian, right? And it really how I talk to my children, how I live my life. Again, I need to live it, I need to, embrace all of the concepts, but I embrace from a standpoint of like trying to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for my Christian belief. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for me when people say there's no God. Like, how can there not be a God? Because like, especially like when you go, again, I got 5 kids, 3 boys, 2 girls. Like when you watch the birthing process, your baby come out, how can you say that's not God? You know what I'm saying? How can you say that, God didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? How can you go outside and look at the sky and look at it and say there's no God? So I choose to live my life through that lens.
So I'm not saying there's no God. I just choose not to call him God. You know, whether our definition of what a God is and everything, that's one thing. I just choose not to call him God.
Yeah.
And everything. I choose to call him Yahuwah, which under the research that I've done and everything.
Just like how some people have Allah
Exactly.
or Buddha.
Yep.
You know, everyone. There's many different gods, I guess.
Buddha is not a god.
Yeah.
Prophet.
Yeah.
Well, one of their
Okay.
prophets.
Hey,
Allah.
Buddha look like Rick Ross a little bit. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
then it gets-
In the peripheral.
It gets real like tricky. You know what I'm saying? Because I have friends that are Muslims, not and no disrespect to whatever section of Muslims there is, but I have one of my friends is from Lebanon, just a different Muslim from the jailhouse Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So for years, me and him has always gone back and forth. I would pick his brain, like, why this, why that, why this, why that. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I did learn was that I always thought Allah was just their version of saying God.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
But then you dig deeper, rabbit hole that everybody's been talking about today. You dig deeper and you find out that Allah actually comes from I forget which civilization was praising this God, but it's the moon god Allah. You know what I'm saying? And
So-
if you think about the Muslim religion, what's their symbol?
The moon. The moon.
Mhm. And that's one of my things. I grew up. I grew up going to Sunday school before even knowing what we were doing. And when I say before knowing what we were doing, like we're going to Sunday school, but I don't know. This is like church school. I don't know. It's just like school on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up doing that. My aunt, one of my aunts is Buddhist. I think she converted like a good portion of the family. I don't know. I remember at one point we all used to just be there chanting and all that stuff and looking at this book with just scribble on it. And I'd be there, we all be chanting, the same chant. Nam yo didn't get killed, nam yo didn't get killed. And everybody's reading and I'm like, there's no way that you're reading this. It's all just scribble. And then they're like, nam yo hard get killed, nam yo hard. Like, bro, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there watching people's eyes and shit to see if they're going back and forth. And I'm like, there's no way. You know what I mean? But I did that. My family's always been spiritual. That's like number one, spiritual. Then this religion stuff is usually under that. You know what I mean? But I've done that, and I graduated from a Catholic school. You know what I mean? So I've had like different areas. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that I can pull out of this is none of that matters. It's all about your relationship with God, or however you want to give whatever title you want to give them. You know what I mean? For the mainstream people watching, I'll just say God. You know what I mean? But it's all about your relationship with God. Some people go to church to develop that relationship. Some people are nurtured that relationship from the house before you even leave. For me, it's
You have to go to church though to have that relationship.
I don't think
No,
so.
you don't.
I don't think so. I don't believe
Right
in that.
now, we're all talking about God and we're all doing our thing. This is basically church. When two or more people get together, start talking about God, that is church. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like
Larry over here quoting scripture. That's what scripture says right
But
there.
it is, but then it's like, now, what are we talking about now? You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna just pull out the Bible and go through that, or are we gonna talk about our own personal, experiences that kind of would prove or disprove God? For me, I have numerous of experiences that I could share that, for me, proves that God is real. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm on kind of have a relationship with God. Like I can ask him, are you real? And look over here and there'll be a billboard that says yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's about your relationship and how in tune. See, a lot of times people pray and then they don't listen. They don't wait.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come tomorrow. It's not gonna come today. It's gonna come when you need it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on the relationship.
We connect on that relationship piece, and I think you're absolutely right. Like you would say something, and like it'd be confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had similar situations like where you pray for something and it doesn't happen at that time, but then it'll come.
Yeah.
You're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And it'll come the exact same way that you thought it would come.
And you instantly know, like it could be 3 months from when you prayed about it, and you like your mind goes directly to it. Bang, bang, that was it. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know, for anybody else and stuff.
I can see that.
Well, it's very interesting. My upbringing, I didn't, like, my mom didn't take us to church or anything like that. I mean, I had my brother and sister's dad lived in the house, and we'd go to New York and we'd spend hours at church, and I hated it. I remember going to church like 8 in the morning.
What'd you hate about it though?
I just didn't enjoy it. It was not interesting to me. I was only like 9 years old, so I mean, I'm not gonna enjoy being in a predominantly adult space, and I want to go play. But that was just an experience for me. So that was one of my experiences with church. But Christianity, I've always had friends who believed in God, and Christianity was the biggest one. And Mr. Hughes, which I'm sure all of you guys know, he was my mentor in high school. He was also a pastor. So
Shout out to Thomas Hughes. If you're
shout out to
watching
Thomas
Pastor
Hughes. He said I used to go to some of his services, but I went to one of his services and he said something so powerful, and it was something along the lines of, don't be ignorant to information.
Yeah.
And I knew that I knew that just because I don't believe in God, doesn't mean that I shouldn't, take the opportunity to learn, right? So, some of my best friends, my only best friends are, some of them are studying to be a pastor, they go to church every Sunday, and so I have these people around me, and it's not something that I'm against. I'm not against it. And I've had many conversations growing up about, having conversations with friends about God and different things like that. And of course, I get the crazy look and like how and all this other thing. That's okay. But one thing I learned in my experience is that just because we have opposing beliefs doesn't mean that you're wrong or I'm right or vice versa. How I look at, religion is belief. These are principles, morals, these are things that we align with, that we believe and we follow. So I can't tell you that you're wrong or you're wrong, because that's like arguing about opinions.
Yeah.
Right? So, my mindset is I don't believe in a God, but I do believe I am on that spiritual segment. And I mention the universe a lot. But what I'm really referring to, and what that really drives back to, if I'm digging down deeper, is the power of the mind. Because when we talk about the subconscious and the conscious mind, you had talked about how, when you pray, when someone prays for something that might show up here and there, it's the power of the mind.
It's a manifestation.
Where focus goes, energy flows. If we focus on a red car, or we're going to see a million red cars, we focus on opportunity, right? Because I also realize that prayer is a form of affirmation. It's we're putting positive affirmation out there. Having a tough time, I need a sign, or I need help. But it's in my belief, it's a sign of positive affirmation. And if we're continuing to look for opportunity, or God, please guide me, that's our mind is going to find or identify some of those opportunities when they show. Like, for an example, it's God showed me a sign, and if we see a sign that says yes, or we see a sign that has a certain message that resonates to what we're trying to attract, we're going to connect with that. So for me, I believe in the power of the mind. What you think about, you bring about. Thoughts influence feelings, feelings influence your reality. So having a deep self-awareness of self, to understand yourself, your thoughts, your feelings. And that's what and Noah, for the sake of Noah, my son, he
I've been away from this motherfucker here.
For the sake of my son Noah,
Love you, Thomas.
I don't force anything on him. We have explorative conversation. He's come to me and asked me about God before, because he's heard about it at his mom's house. But I don't. So with Noah, I keep it open. Like, we even had a conversation about God and what he thinks that is, to understand what his understanding is. But I keep it open. I let him know where I stand, and what I believe. But I don't force anything on him, just because I've just seen a lot of that.
So you bring up a good point in terms of like forcing things on him. Like, how do we choose to, or do we choose to pass on what we believe to our children? Because at the end of the day, I believe our role is we're supposed to be guiding our children.
Right.
So do we also guide our children and what they're supposed to believe? I know that sounds like authoritative, what they're supposed, but do we, like, how do we do
There's a
that?
difference
we
between
do that by
teaching.
nature. We
Yeah.
naturally do it. Like, for example, you're not telling Noah that there's no God, but you're not telling him that there is
Because
God.
I'll tell him,
So-
I'll say, hey, I don't believe in God. This is where my mindset is.
Which is setting the stage for him. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because I'm sure that the kid is always looking at the parent as
Right.
my hero.
But he's also in a household that does preach God.
Mm-hmm.
So what it already started to show a little bit was he has questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask questions to understand what his understanding of it. Right? So you believe in God? Okay. So what does that mean to you? Oh, okay. So that's what that means. Okay. And I accept that. But I think as we grow, we're going to continue. That conversation is also going to grow with more context, more intellect, more conversation. But that's kind of how I approach it, is just having the conversation, understanding how he understands it, and then being able to ask important questions to allow him to expand on what he actually might be saying. But I think there's a difference between teaching and telling him, we're going to church every Sunday, you're going to read the Bible, X amount of times every night, you're going to pray, I think if Noah decides he wants to believe in God and follow that route, I'll support in any way I can, but he'll understand that that's not where I stand, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, he's his own person. But I will always take the opportunity to ask questions and have conversation, because those are where those teachable moments come, where he might be like, well, Dad, you don't believe in God, so why should I? And it's like, well, you can believe what you like. If you're saying that you believe in God and you like to read the Bible.
Well, can I stop you for a second, Thomas? Are these conversations with Noah at the age that he is at right now? Do you think, like, you should be having that? Well, you don't have to. This, don't you think that it should be like, this is just what it is?
No, because in my mind, no, because at the end of the day, he's gonna grow up and learn that, well, Derek believes in this, and my dad always told me that Jesus Christ was this and that, but what he's talking about,
maturity though, that comes with, like, okay, now you're a little bit older.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the evolution of that conversation, right? Because the conversation with him now is just on the base level.
Yeah.
He mentioned God before. He mentioned Bible before. He mentioned how his aunt preaches God and all these things, and that's, oh, okay. So what does that mean for you? Like, what, do you believe in God? And he's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, what is God? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
And I understand it. So now that as we grow each year, each month, whatever it might be, we can continue to have those conversations. But as he gets older, we can take it a little bit deeper, right? Because right now it's just, he's learning. He was just introduced to God and what that might be, and Jesus Christ and these things. And if that's the case, then that's okay. But I'm going to continue to have these conversations with him. And if he's sitting to me and saying, Dad, you need to believe in God, he's this and that, this and that, I'm like, you know what, Noah, everyone can believe what they want to believe in. You know, and what I do preach to Noah is, if it's helping you stay a good human being, if it's motivating you, if praying is something that helps you get through your day or your troubles, continue to do that, because that's helping you, right? But I learned from my past experiences, I've gotten into ruthless debate and conversation about why God ain't real. But then I realized as I matured that that's just ignorant. And so I'm not going to fight with Noah about what he believes and what he doesn't. Now, if he's telling me, hey, I believe in the devil, and the devil's telling me to, kill people or do this stuff, now we have to intervene.
Yeah, now you gotta stop.
Because now he's talking about that's not good human behavior. That is now harming, and it's not healthy. It's not good. So that's when you step in. And you're like, okay, and redirect and have now step in. But if he's going to tell me he believes in God, he believes in Allah, he believes in this, I'm going to ask questions to learn about how his understanding is of that, and find teachable moments.
I think, Derek, you talked about that a little bit as well earlier. You said something or at least off camera, you're talking about the idea of like, are we open to let them to like explore, different type of approaches?
Yeah, I think it was it's really cool to hear the father perspectives on such a differently interpreted topic. You know what I mean? Because there is no definitive. I feel that there is no definitive yes or no either, and so I think my approach and our approach, with my wife as well, is a little bit gray, right? Because, and I haven't felt great about saying that I believe in God to my kids, because I'm not sure that I do, and it's not a definite no. And like we had this conversation a couple weeks ago where it's like I lean more towards I'm not sure if there is a God. That's what I mean. But I'm also like, there are things in this world that I can't explain, and so I allow for that, right? Because I have more of a systematic scientific approach to life. I'm not saying it, like, to your point, I will never tell somebody that that's wrong when it comes to a belief, especially when you put it pretty eloquently. It's all for good. It's all about our moral compass, right? And so I haven't seen it, so it's hard for me to believe in something. It's hard for me to believe in something that I can't see, right? And I'm sure for people who have that faith, that you guys probably hear that a lot, right? Like people like me who it's like, I want to believe, but there are just so many pieces of what I feel are just coincidences and evidence that it's not real, and it's not anything definitive that I say, right? Like, and so when I take that to, because I didn't get a chance to talk about like what religion means to me, and to me it's a little dark, but people don't want to die, and I think religion has a lot to do with this can't be it, right? Like, we get one chance on earth, that's it, and that's hard for a lot of people to accept, myself included. So I think religion is sort of the answer to, there's more to life than just life, right? Because I enjoy my life, I enjoy living, I enjoy all that stuff, and I don't, right now at least, I don't want it to end. And so I think one of the devices to sort of get around that is religion, and to go down a deeper hole of the rabbit hole, when we talk about the different types of religions, it's sort of, to me, it just makes more questions than answers of like, well, why is your belief stronger than my belief, right? Like, what happened to the beliefs of the Romans and the Greeks, right? Like, and the ancient Egyptians, and the three of us started to talk about that, but it's like, okay, is Zeus just chilling up on like Mount Olympus, like being like, hey, I'm still here, like, why doesn't anybody, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's a little bit light, but like I have those types of questions about religion in general. So when I bring it to my kids, because my wife grew up Catholic, I grew up in later childhood years Southern Baptist. You know, I went to Southern Baptist churches with my dad. Saw the Holy Ghost a couple of times, catch a few people.
Yeah.
And it was a cool experience. Like I got to give it to Southern Baptist Church. Like it was pretty cool because it wasn't, even though the Christianity, at least Southern, a lot of pieces are God fearing. Wasn't about the fear of God. It wasn't about if you do this you'll go to hell. Like I've seen those churches too. So I enjoyed the experience because it was all about motivation and just trying to be a good person, right? And Larry, you said it, like that connection piece, right? Like that's what religion is to me.
That's huge.
It is.
That's
so, the COVID stopped church for us, right? Like I just sort of went along. And every God conversation that my kids would have at an early age, I just talk to your mother, right? Like that's her realm, and I would just
Good job, Nikki. Good job.
so I would just but my answer would be because I love that. I feel that's brave, to have those conversations with Noah, because I'm not brave enough yet to have. I feel those are really evolved conversations about, I just try to keep it basic for now with the kids, right? So my approach and my position is there a God? Yes. But inside I'm like, do I believe it's a God? Probably not. But for sake of this conversation with my kids, yes, there's a God. And I only do that because I don't want to have those conversations yet with my kids, right? Like I am not there yet to have those conversations. And so by just saying yes, when they do get a little bit older, to sort of to realize that there's more to life than just outside of these four walls, they start to ask bigger, more in-depth questions. I'll let my true color show a little bit more about like, well, I'm not really sure, Brooklyn, and have those conversations there.
Not that I'm trying to change you, or Thomas, but how can there not be a God?
Can I answer that? Because every time I have a conversation, 99% of the every time we have an intellectual conversation about this topic, it's always, well, how do you explain how we're here? Or how do you explain this? How do you explain that? And I believe, this is what I believe, is there are certain things that the human mind cannot comprehend. And when it comes to how the earth was created, I just went the last 9 months, and I'm at the tail end of it. I'm about to experience birth again after 9.5 years.
Yes.
Yes. And I've told my partner many times, I'm like, I can't even almost comprehend how a woman grows a human.
And then comprehend how it comes out.
Right? But here's what I'm trying to get at is, we'll never, as men, never understand. Never. Because we don't give birth.
That's why that's
right?
God.
So, and that's how you interpret it, and that's okay. But I do believe that there are certain things on this earth we won't ever fully understand. And I think that that example you used where, people want to know that there's more to this, they have to find a reason or believe in something that helps them understand why we are here, or how the earth was created, or childbirth, right? So, and for me, I accept that childbirth is mind-blowing, and I'll never understand or why the earth was created or how it was created, and I'm okay with that. The fact that I'm a living being, I have an opportunity to live on this earth, be a dad, be alive, be healthy, I'm grateful for that. And we all have an end date. So my mindset's like, I don't know when that will be, but let me take advantage of just living. And again, that's just, I know a lot of people are indifferent, but that's just my mindset.
But I think there needs to be, this is very opinionated, very subjective standpoint.
Absolutely.
There has to be a guiding point. It has to be something that guides your day-to-day thought processes, that guides your philosophy, that guides the way the way we father. And for me, that's from a Christian perspective, because of my experiences. Like Larry just said, you would go through something and you see a sign that confirms what you said. Like, I don't think that's by chance. I don't think that's the way it is.
But if you're focused on looking for a sign or believe that God will show you a sign, you're already looking for it.
But you're kind of misunderstanding what we're saying. Because like you said before, sometimes we'll ask or we'll think about something, and months later, it's not like for 3 months we're harboring on this thought every day. No, we go.
But you already put it out in the universe. It's
we
already
go and live our life, and 3-4 months later, it's boom, and then it comes back. That's what
and
you.
Do you think that any of your thinking during that 3-month period, or any of your actions after praying on a daily basis, have influenced you to?
This is what I'm saying.
To see that.
Don't pray on that. This could be one thing today. Bam. Ask, should I do this? Boom, boom, boom. Go live your life for 3 months. Forgot you even asked that. Until something shines upon, you know what I mean? You're like,
but if you've already moved on, but then you see that sign 3 months later, how is it that you can bring this back to?
Because like I said, sometimes when people pray, they pray and they expect shit now. And that's not how it works. God is gonna bless you when you need it, when you deserve it, when the time is right. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting there praying for this, praying for this, praying for this. If we don't need it now, we're not gonna get it now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying.
I
get what you're saying. You're talking like on the philosophy of just speaking things into the air and manifesting and all that shit. Do you know how many times I've really put my mind to manifest on winning this lottery? Never did.
Yeah, but do you know that you have better chances of creating that type of wealth without having to win the lottery?
Yeah, but I'm trying to get the shortcut real quick. If we could look at
listen to
what I'm saying. I'm taking your philosophy and all that shit.
Yeah.
If we can will things and speak things into existence, why after 10 years of trying to win this lottery, it's not happening? But I can ask God or the creator of the universe for some guidance on a specific thing, and I'll get, like what Dee says, confirmation on that. But I don't even hit on scratch tickets.
Wait, but hold on a second, if I could, because Larry, you just said something. I was gonna say everything I have prayed for in my life, I have gotten beyond everything, whether it be like on the job, professionally, everything I've gotten. One thing I have not gotten is luck from the lottery. But not that I prayed for it, but I haven't gotten. And then Larry just spoke about lottery.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, I might need to go buy me a scratch ticket.
But the thing, the lottery is
he's not winning the lottery because he doesn't need the lottery. He doesn't need it. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need it to get to his goals and everything. So I get where Larry's coming from. I understand what you're saying because I do believe in manifestation or just speaking things into existence.
People
ask me how my day's going. I always say it's great. Because whenever I'm in a bad mood, because I want to feel great and I want to manifest that I'm in a great mood.
I haven't mentioned manifestation or speaking to existence, but I'm along that line.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get at is your mindset, right? Because when you had talked about, you prayed for some of the blessings that you've had in your life, whether it's with job, family, or things like that, but you put in work to get there, right? And I'm not saying you're wrong for that. I'm trying to connect with your what you're trying to say, but also try to understand that what I'm really trying to say is the mindset. Because I've had this belief since I was in high school. So, and how I've operated was, well, if I want something, okay, so for an example, I want to learn how to be better with money. And what I've now learned at the age of 29, with all the things that I've learned about budgeting, investing, all these different things, is my relationship with money, the psychology of money, how I perceive money. That I've been operating subconsciously of looking at money at a way of scarcity rather than abundance. So in order to achieve wealth, I have to change my mindset on what wealth is and my relationship with money. So I use that as an example to show that it's mindset that I'm really preaching here, and being able to, when you speak things out, it's influencing your thinking, which then influences how you feel, which then in turn influence how you live.
Okay, so a better question is, what guides that mindset? Like my mindset, when, again, I'm not one to go out drinking, go out partying, but what guides that is making sure I always have a clear mind. It's a biblical approach. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being guided by I'm not sure if I want to say philosophy, but being guided by a certain morals, right? That come from my belief in God.
But
my
morals
belief
aren't
in
religious.
No.
Morals are not religious, and I think that's.
But part of it is,
Yeah,
right? Part of it is.
But the religion is about the morals. The morals is not about religion. If that makes sense.
No, I see what you're saying.
Like 4 people interrupted you, so go ahead.
No.
That's a good one.
I'm
sorry.
not worried about it. I'm a
sorry,
very patient person.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry,
a
sorry.
very patient person. But I'll just say, so real quick, yeah, I agree with Derek because morals are not religious. But the whole thing being is like, our religious topic is like, when we're sitting here talking about religion, like, I don't necessarily believe in religion. I think of religion more so as a scam. I do believe in Yahuwah, God, whatever we decide to call it, I believe in that. And I pray every night, and I ask him for guidance and everything, and the guidance I ask him for, or the patience that I need to maintain that, whether I'm speaking it to him or speaking it into the world and everything, and put in that work, to me, whether we call it meditating or whatever it may be, that is what helps me become the better person or become what I want to achieve and everything. So that's my belief through it. And then just to touch base on, because I didn't get an opportunity to, on what I teach my kids, I really don't teach my kids anything when it comes to that, because I believe they're going to learn their own spiritual journey, whether that's believing in God or just believing in a higher power. There's a whole bunch of avenues of where they can believe. And
is there an age though to that?
I would say there's not an age, because here I am at the age of 44, and about 6 or 7 months ago, up to a year, I had this change in belief because I started doing my own research. My whole life, I've always believed in God. I never believed in church or religion. I don't believe in that because, like, I hate the idea of that I need church clothes. Why do I need church clothes? He should accept me as I come.
You say,
yo, not
come
to
as
cut
you
you
are.
off real quick, but I used to go.
Come as you are.
Listen, I used to do this on purpose. It's like a social experiment for myself, right? Yo, I used to go to different churches looking so crazy, bro. Like, looking face all crazy, hair not cut, like almost dirty clothes on, sweat clothes and shit. And I had to go and I sit next to people, and people be like this.
Judging you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, this ain't the church for me.
Being a sinner.
Try doing that. Try doing that, and you'll see like how people
Yeah.
really are. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're supposed to come as you are. So if I'm dirty and got holy clothes on, and I come sit next to you real quick, there should be no reason why moving away and stuff.
But do you smell?
Nah, I don't smell. It's the appearance.
It's just the appearance.
It's strictly the appearance.
Let me tell you something. I on my way here, when I leave my house, I drive by a church all the time, and I'm respectful of the church, and I'm respectful of those people's beliefs and everything. But it is 90 degrees and humid. Well, not right now. And the doorman standing outside in a 3-piece suit, long sleeves, jacket on, and everything. And in my head, I'm like, there's no way that is comfortable. If respectfully, if I were to go to that church, just because I'm interested I'm interested anyways. I'm interested in hear what the pastor has to say or what the minister has to say. I like to hear what they have to say and everything. I may not agree with being Christian or Catholic or any of that. I don't agree with any of those specific religions or anything, because religions were created. Those aren't nothing that. Do you know what I'm saying? Somebody
I do.
Google dates of when religions were created and everything.
I do, but it's still, Christian faith still serves as a foundation for how I see the world and how I choose to govern myself.
And that's fine, but the understanding is like, for me, I understand that in whatever year, whether it was the 1400s, I don't remember exactly, somebody created the Christian religion. The Christian religion wasn't here at the beginning of time, and it wasn't anything. Someone took the Bible or parts of the Bible, and we all know that the Bible's been interpreted in many ways, and parts have been left out strategically for whatever leaders and everything. So the Bible we read today may not even be an accurate written scripture of the Bible. We really don't know what the true Bible is.
The Bible is, I call the Bible like a mixtape. You have a mixtape, you have everybody's song from their album.
Yeah.
Listen, you laughing. You have everybody's song from their album, right?
Bible mixtape.
But listen, because we have the Gospel of Thomas, right? For Pete, the Gospel of Thomas is only one song from this album, or maybe 2 or 3. So if you like the Gospel of Thomas, now you have to do more research and find out where did that excerpt come from. Because if Bible is a collection of books. That one book is not, the name of that book is not the Bible. If you look at the meaning of the Bible, it's a collection of books. It's, how you say library in Spanish?
Librería.
What?
La librería. The library.
And how you say book?
Libro.
Nope, something else.
In Spanish, it's libro.
What's biblioteca?
Biblioteca, that's like a biblical or something like that. In that
I think like
a
when you trace it back,
biblioteca would be like a biblical text.
something like that, yeah.
Biblical
So
text.
the Bible is a bunch of different books. It's passages that's in the Bible that's from what they call the Book of the Dead. There's passages from the Ethiopian Bible. So if you want to read about like the real story of Adam and Eve, Genesis and all that stuff, you're gonna want to look at the Ethiopian Bible. You know what I'm saying? There's the Torah. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is all accumulated into this one book. Like it said, they took certain stuff out. For what? We don't know. We could speculate. We could say this. We could say that. One thing that we was talking about earlier is like the slavery and stuff. I firmly believe that certain things was taken out of the Bible, like you said earlier, to control the slaves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I think it was just to make them think that, oh, this is okay what they're doing to us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's here in the book.
Yeah.
But it's just a mix of a bunch of different things. If you want to fully understand that, you got to go find out where that stuff came from. In my opinion, then you would have to read those books. You have to read those books. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I haven't read the Bible front to back, back to front. Like in school, in high school, we used to have to do certain stuff. Yeah, cool, but I mean, I don't know. I don't get hung up on the stories and stuff because I know it comes from somebody. Follow it down, it's gonna come back to some ancient times. You know what I mean? So somewhere somebody did something. You know what I mean? It's like that game of telephone. I whisper something to him. Boom, boom, boom. By the time it gets back to me, it's totally different. Purple, pink, polka dot elephant. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why, like, besides the Bible, because to Larry's point, the Bible is so changed and everything. We don't really know the Geneva Bible, the King James Bible. To me, I think the King James Bible is probably one of the worst ones to read because he banned other Bibles and said his Bible was the Bible. You know, King James was nobody religious. I recently learned that within the last couple of years. He was literally a king of England or something, and he took the Bible, he pulled things completely out of it, and said, "This is the Bible now going forward." And then there's actual companies, there's corporations that own the rights to the Bible. Like, if this book is really supposed to be the book of that we're supposed to, our Bible basically, how does somebody own that? How does somebody own the rights to that, the rights to rewrite it, the rights to add and take scripture away and everything? That makes no sense to me. And everything, that someone could just own that.
and to me, that is the religion part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the religion part of it. That's why I say, I'm not telling everybody to like, yo, don't mess with religion, but it's more your relationship with God. If you need to go to church and start learning about God and start building your own steps to get there, cool. But once you start getting in the role and you start developing your own relationship with God, you're gonna go to church and you're gonna see things different. Like I said, I go there all bummy and stuff just to go mess with people. You know what I mean? Just because I know that you're not supposed to judge, but if I come sit next to you bummy, you're gonna start flying over and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And I'm just saying God just for the people. Whatever, care if people call us what they call
You're
them.
not offending me or
I
bothering
don't,
me.
I don't get caught up on titles and all that stuff because nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? How do I know, Thomas? I'm gonna tell you how I know. Sitting here listening to you, my spirit's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I feel inside. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just
And
like
I've had
uneasy
conversations
and stuff,
with,
and I'm just sitting there.
Pastor Hughes was my mentor in high school, all the way from freshman year all the way to senior year. And I took that opportunity to not be ignorant, to learn. So the thing is that Pastor Hughes, he knew I didn't believe in God. But it's every single time I speak with someone, I get a similar response. And it's that. It doesn't sit right. It's like, oh, well, but why, but this, and I get it, that's okay. I'm not offended by it. But it's very interesting to see how when you don't believe what a lot of people believe, I'm the one walking into church with the bummy clothes. But for me, my mindset was, well, if I don't care what you believe in.
Yeah.
If what you believe in is helping you become a great human being, then great. But it's interesting how I'm judged because of what I believe in, and I don't believe in this,
But you're
God.
not.
It
Right?
doesn't.
And that's fine. I get it. But
Honestly,
it's
not.
interesting how it works,
Honestly,
vice versa.
Thomas,
But you're not being judged.
Because if I sat here and I was like, well, I read the Bible, I'm a Christian, I do it, like, I wouldn't be judged.
No,
But you're not being judged. All I did was tell you.
Actually,
what-
the people that
I
bother me the
understand.
most,
Maybe
sorry,
judging is
Leonard,
the
to
wrong
cut you
word.
off and everything, but the people that bother me the most, that the ones that are just so adamant about this book and they want to force the book, it makes no difference to me whether you believe in God or not, because I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to convince you whether he's real or not. I'm not here to convince you to call him God or Yahuwah or
But he is
call
real.
Jesus Yahusha, and that's
And I
great.
respect
But
your
let me. I just want the way you're acting though will make him feel that you're
I've
trying
dealt
to
with
force
this
him on him.
10 times over.
So I had
I
a
get it.
situation one time. I have 6 kids. Some of them don't believe in God. Some of them believe, whatever. And I don't convince them one way or the other because they're going to follow their own journey. And that's what I really want to push with them is believe what you want to believe. But also to your point, don't be ignorant about the information that's out there because it's good to know about this stuff to have. Even if you want to defend what you believe, sometimes knowing information about the other side
Absolutely.
will help you in your defense or maybe help them in their defense. But the other thing to what you're doing, D, and I don't do that. What you just did, I don't do that to people. I don't like to do that to people because I remember one time, I was with my daughter and then I went to pick her up at her mother's house. So her mother was like, do you know your daughter doesn't believe in God? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, and you don't say nothing to her? And I'm like, no. And then my daughter's believing in whatever she believes. She's 21 now. And she still believes whatever she believes. And then her mom was like, doing what you're doing. Well, I thank God that she's still here, and I thank God. I just think that's the wrong approach to have with people because nobody likes anything being forced upon them, whether it's religion, whether it's the government, and everything. Nobody wants anything forced upon them and everything. So that's what's led me to be how I am with religion and my relationship with God or Yahuwah, what I choose to call him, is because I always felt like it was trying to get forced on me and saying that if I don't do this, I'm gonna be damned, and if I don't conduct myself in a certain way, that I'm gonna be judged. And it's like, I'm a great person. And I don't have to follow Christianity or get dipped in water or anything like that to find the love I have with my relationship with the Creator. I don't need to do all those things that because I don't understand what being dipped in water is supposed to represent. I understand what it represents. Like people have told me, oh, it means the rebirth, the this, the that. But I don't see the correlation on how is that really.
I see that as an excuse for people that be like, yo, I messed up in the past, I'm reborn again, don't do this. But honestly, for me, I got baptized.
Yeah.
I got baptized too.
For me, y'all gonna laugh. It was like an
Fantastic.
episode of Pinky and the Brain. And you remember when they had the machine to make Pinky smart and the brain stupid or something?
I don't remember that one.
And they when they used the machine, nothing changed with Pinky. You know what I'm saying? He was just his regular goofy self. And that's how I felt when I got baptized. Like, I got out of the water and I was just like, nah, I feel the same.
Yeah.
But a lot
I'm
of it's
being
mindset.
honest. Listen, I'm being honest. On the way home, congratulations.
And you know what though? There's some people that dipped you in that water, and if they knew you was rolling up in your congratulations, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
Pass that, Playboy."
he's damned again." No, they're
No,
not.
they're
Some of them will
like,
be
"Pass that,
like,
Playboy."
some of them will be like, "Past that." Some of them are gonna be like,
I got asked, listen,
he's
I got
damned
asked
again.
to be a part of the church crew and all that, and I had to decline. Like, listen, y'all don't want me.
But
I'm unreliable. I'll be here like one Sunday out of the 4 in the month.
Yeah.
to your point, Ishmael, if you are walking by a person on a bridge, would you tell them to jump?
No.
You would say don't jump.
Depends how I'm feeling.
But most of us would say don't jump. Like, if I don't tell you my religion, I'm basically telling you to jump.
Why? How?
Yeah, but
that's
see,
a-
that's where it gets dangerous
Yeah,
because
that's-
now
yeah.
what you believe in is all. Because what you're saying is, well, if I don't tell you what I believe in or tell you what's the truth, then you're doing something wrong.
It's like food. If you have food, there you go, my brother. Nah, I'm cool. You gonna force me to eat it? You just say you're straight.
Like, no, you need to eat.
All right, cool. There you go, my brother. Nah, I'm cool. There you go. Oh, thank you. I need that.
Yeah.
What
So,
it's like, you can't
so,
really make
you know,
no.
I don't like.
I'm basically telling you to jump.
Yeah. So you're basically saying Christianity is the way.
But that's your interpretation. So explain give us some understanding of why your thinking is, well, if I don't say anything, then I'm basically telling him to jump.
Sometimes, and I don't mean to answer for him, but I've seen this go down. Sometimes simple conversations about God or about whatever, like, saves people's lives. People will go home and, like, you see them later on and like, man, listen, man, I was in a really dark place and we just got to talking and you were saying everything, you know what I mean?
I've experienced things like that. You know what I'm saying? People have told me that. In fact, I just got a call the other day from somebody who said, hey,
Save
I was in a
somebody's
dark
life.
time. Thank you for doing what you did for me. I really appreciate it. So by me not saying a word of encouragement for how I see it, again, subjective, totally subjective, but how I see it, I feel like I'm not doing that person justice.
Well, words of
because I could be that person who stands in the in the intersection and say, okay, hey, listen, this is what it is. To be that person of guidance, be that person of light that person may not have experienced.
Well, no,
And-
now it's getting different because you said, well, if you see someone on a bridge and you don't say anything, then I'm basically telling them to jump off.
Yes, but if I just walk by that, I'm saying jump.
Right, but
Subconsciously.
But if you're speaking to him, right, are you saying you need God in your life, sir? Come down here and speak with me. Or is it what you just said, which was words of encouragement? Hey, is everything okay? Hey, come down, let's speak, let's talk.
How do
You
you
know,
know the guy was
so
gonna jump in?
because-
Can I jump in?
Because that's how I'm interpreting that. Is you need God in your life. Come off that bridge and let's go to church. Let's go speak to pastor, right? Or is it, hey man, I see that you're going through a hard time. Let's talk. You know?
Okay, so it may be the latter what you just said, but then through the talking is now the Christian faith is coming out.
So now you're implementing God in the conversation.
Because that's what did it for me.
How do you
Yeah,
know
that's-
God wasn't the catapult or the
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, what if you just saved him from what was supposed to happen?
I guess so. You.
Well, hold on, but God doesn't want you to jump off a bridge.
Right,
like
but
a
you can
sign,
speak to some people who believe in God and God told them to.
So why would you?
That's the
intervene?
devil talking.
Why would you intervene if somebody?
That's
But
the devil talking.
that's how they're interpreting. That's what I'm saying. Is you might interpret it in a way of bringing him down and bringing him to God, or God might have brought you to do this for him. But the way you explained it in the beginning was more like you need God. Come off that bridge. Let's go speak to pastor and talk like that. You know what I mean? Whereas when you explained it again, you said words of encouragement, which is the avenue I would go. right?
So
Where
I see
it's not about God, but it's more about, I see you're going through a hard time. Let's talk. Break it down. Da da da. Right. So
I think it starts off like that, and then yes, I'm going to throw the Christian faith in there, and I feel like I have to.
I think.
But that's what you believe in. And you're not wrong for that.
I'm not trying to deter you from the Christian faith, but I think you should follow that guy I told you, John Truth. Watch some of his videos. It'll be eye-opening to you.
I also think.
As even, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
But also, there's another guy I like watching his videos, and he loses me a little sometimes. Me and Larry talked about him before. Billy Carson. He has a lot of interesting videos where he talks about the ancient text and all
Just
that.
the origin of
Yeah,
a lot of the text,
stories
and stuff.
and everything. And some of those stories, how they end up in the Bible and his interpretation of that stuff. I think that would be like somewhat eye-opening. I'm not telling you to lose your faith or to change your faith, but it'll give you another perspective of how we probably even got to Christianity.
The God that I follow is a jealous God. Says no other gods before me.
So why would God be jealous? Doesn't he tell us not to be jealous? Isn't jealousy or envy, isn't that something we're not supposed to do? Watch John Truth's video, because he might have a twist for you about the God and the word God and everything. I'm just saying watch it for educational purposes or for this guy used to be a Christian with strong, powerful Christian faith. And then within his own research of what he was doing, he no longer became a Christian. I don't remember what he calls what he is now and everything, but I'm just saying if you watch some of his videos, it might be a little eye-opening and everything. And you'll still probably be a Christian and everything, because a lot of being a Christian or Catholic or Southern Baptist, it is what we were taught, and it's what we know. It's not always what we learn.
But it's confirmed through experiences. Right? Larry talked about that still. It's confirmed through experiences. Like, we could probably talk about some things. All of us can bring something to light we're like, man, I'm not supposed to be here. Right? I'm not supposed to be where I am. Like, I this happened to me, that happened to me. I was raised this way. But all of that brings me back to the perspective of being a Christian. Right?
Yeah, but so I don't think of it. Sorry, I don't think of it as being a Christian. I would think of that more of, to Larry's point, your relationship with him or the Creator. That's what I would. I don't think Christianity has anything to do with it. Catholic has nothing to do with it. It is more about that relationship with him, because I don't need to be a Christian and go to a Christian church to have my faith, nor do I need that to have my salvation. I don't believe in any of that. I believe my relationship is my salvation, not the fact that I'm a Christian. And that's more to your point, Larry. Like, it's more about that relationship. Because are you a Christian?
I got baptized. I don't mean, but no. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I did everything. I used to go to church, got baptized, all that stuff. But even when I was going to church and doing all of that, it was to build my relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was to go hear some like-minded words and just get a jump start on what I need to do as far as building my relationship. You'll come to a point where either you think that you need to do it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Like it said, I'm not here to change nobody's mind.
Right.
I got cut off when I was talking about the stuff you were saying. So the reason why I said that wasn't to offend you. It was none of that. It was because I was getting to a point where I was going to tell you how I, as well as listening with my ears, seeing with my eyes, I feel with my body.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could be walking down somewhere and your body will tell you like, yo,
something ain't right there.
Turn around. You know what I'm saying? I had a similar experience when I was in Inglewood, California, and I walked 30 minutes the wrong direction, and something just told me like.
You don't think that was self-awareness?
But where does it come from, though?
You have like
self-awareness. That's what I said in the beginning was learning to know who you are and yourself.
But that self-awareness comes from, I think, a connection to that relationship, Larry. Right?
I think it's like Scientology, where it's just a scientific reason for everything. I guess if that's what you want to do, like some people believe in God, some people believe in the universe. I guess the $1 million question would be is, how could you say the universe is doing all this and not God? You know what I'm saying? Just like how can you say God is doing all this and not the universe?
Well, because the universe. So
I keep getting interrupted from my point.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm just saying that I follow my body. I'll sit here and listen.
Yeah.
Some shit might shake my spirit.
Yeah.
Some shit might uplift my spirit.
Yeah.
For me, I like to be uplifted. You know what I'm saying? It could be something he said that uplifted my spirit. It could be a hug from my son, from my daughter, from my wife. You know what I'm saying? That's all the same feeling I get. So when I hear like some good stuff about God, or I hear a good story about God, I might get that feeling like I'm hugging my kids or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's stories that I hear about God or whatever that shakes me up. You know what I'm saying?
Is that because it doesn't align with your relationship with God?
It's because I'm a spiritual person and it doesn't align with my spirit. See what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm in tune with my spirit as well as my physical.
So what the
That's a
other
good
person
point.
might say that doesn't align with you might align with him.
True.
It
True.
might.
Right.
But they might be on the same boat.
So do you see that they're
I'm on a different boat.
understood? I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, no one's
Nobody's
wrong.
wrong.
So I understand your perspective, and I respect your perspective, and I kind of wanted to end my note on this. Back to the guy on the bridge. If Derek walked past that guy on the bridge, I believe in Derek's character that he will speak to that individual and bring him down. I'll do the same. You already said you would do the same. I believe you both would do the same.
I
as
believe
well.
I can tell him to jump and he'll get down.
All right.
If I know the
But
guys
what
on
I'm
the
what I'm
bridge-
trying to get at here is the fact that whether you're a Christian, whether you call your God a different name than what others call them, whether you're undecided or you don't believe in God, the fact that you had it in you, or the intuition or the empathy to say someone's in trouble, I'm gonna bring them down, the words of encouragement we talked about, and whatever route we might go, everyone goes a different route in how they've had that conversation, whether it's talking about God, whatever it might be. The fact that we all made the decision to help this individual is what's most important. It's not because of what you believed or what God told you, but it was something that happened in you, right? The body
I don't usually
that brought that, you know, you're a good human being, you want to help that individual. So I don't think it has anything to do with
Yeah.
whether you're Christian, Muslim, whatever it might be. The fact that what you believe in helps you become a good human being, to even see the fact that someone was in trouble and you wanted to help, is all that matters.
I wouldn't say the person that walked by him is a bad person, though,
No,
because the person that walked by him might believe
that
well, that's his path.
that's his space, and
That's
that's
his
what's
path,
meant to happen. Absolutely.
Or maybe you know, we're all assuming since he's on a bridge looking over that he's gonna jump. How do we not know? Hey, beautiful view.
Right, easy to do. Right. But what I'm trying to say is that either route, we thought in our mind that someone might be in trouble.
Mhm.
This individual might be in trouble. And we found it in ourselves to find a way to help. We can be like, hey guy, you alright? Do you need help? I'm just bird watching.
Yeah.
Alright, no worries. But the fact that you had it in you to even just check in on another human being you don't know, because of the morals or or what you follow, drew you to do that, and great.
I think for me, I'm not sure how you guys feel, but like as we start to close, I think for us with, as fathers, and again, this is totally my perspective. For me in my house, I'm gonna try to serve the Lord, but serve the Lord from the perspective of, hey, these are my values, this is what I gathered, and this is what I would like, my kids to do. Do I force that on them? I don't force it on them just yet, because I don't know how to. But I just try to be an example. And I think my example comes from my belief in God. That's what it does for me. In closing, I'm not sure what it does for Larry and then for Thomas.
For me, of course I believe in God. I believe, you know what I'm saying? I think that terminology is setting us apart. Some people say this, some people say that, some people say this, and now you automatically think that maybe you're right, you're wrong, because we're not saying the same thing. You know what I mean? just think you believe what you believe, man. You're gonna feel it in your body, either that feels good or it don't. You know what I mean? It's just me personally how I can explain it and explain how I go about my day and with my belief with God. Like I said, I've had plenty of experiences. I could have talked a whole hour about each experience that I've had. Probably would have changed some minds. But I don't think that that's what we're here for. I don't think we're here to change anybody's mind. Either you'll go through your own experiences or you won't. There are some people that always need an explanation. The tree fell by itself. There was no wind. Or it must have been something bad with the roots and woo, 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 woo. Okay, well, then, I don't know. But for me, what I teach my kids is just what I believe. There's God, you know what I mean? If you want to say Jesus, say Jesus. Right now, my son is too young to like explain to him, you know what I mean? Oh, there's not really a Jesus. J wasn't invented until like the 1700s or something. Or hey, did you know that the vowels were actually put in place of our language to throw our frequency off from speaking to God and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's too young for all of that. So I kind of go with the flow a little bit. As of now, I've been falling back from saying Jesus because that means Hail Zeus. So we're not even really saying what we want to say. I'm falling back from saying amen because that's giving praise to Amen Ra. That's one of the Egyptian the ancient Egyptian peoples, the Anunnakis and stuff. And this is stuff that I'm just learning. So it's like, man, I remember watching a video where a guy said he died and went to heaven for a little bit and talked with God, and God told him how he was displeased with him. And he's like, I don't understand how. I've been a man of the church all my life since a kid. I grew up to be a pastor. I did nothing but preach about you. And God said, nah, he wasn't preaching about me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't me that you made, Lord. It was the God in that book that you made, Lord. It wasn't me. Again, shook my spirit. I swear to you, and this doesn't happen to me. It's probably only happened to me like one other time in life. It made the hairs on the back of my neck and all that stand up at that moment, which told me like something's wrong. I don't know what, but something's wrong. And immediately I prayed and I just said, listen, I'm sorry if I've been following the wrong thing, but I know now, you know what I'm saying, and try to fix it.
And what Larry just spoke on, I've ran into videos that talk about that.
Simple things like that. That wasn't nobody saying that there wasn't no God or there wasn't this and that. They was just like, yo, doing the wrong thing. Yeah. And I kind of had like I kind of thought that we were, you know what I'm saying? Because life is like it's like the Wizard of Oz. That's what life is like, the Wizard of Oz. You watch something on TV, they're telling you stuff to make you think this way. Everybody wants your attention this way. Well, what's going on over here that you want everybody over here? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes religion falls into that, where everybody's over here. I don't agree with a lot of churches. There's a friend of mine that goes to he's a part of some, I call it a cult. And every time I see my friend, I ask him, how's your brother doing? Hey, he's all right. He's still in the cult. Yeah, he's still with the religious people and stuff. He drank the Kool-Aid. I told him to drink the Kool-Aid. He drank the Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? And just as of recent, his brother was like, I think he drank the Kool-Aid. He's doing some weird stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in the religion aspect of it. God, religion, to me, is two different things. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things. I'm all about God. I'm all about, Jesus too, just because I believe that God manifested himself and came down just to double check to see how people are and we're jerks. You know what I'm saying? I believe that. I believe that we're all instruments and he uses us in different ways. I believe that you don't believe in God, but God forbid, in good time, when you ascend to heaven, and you're like, I didn't know, but now I know. He's gonna rejoice and open his arms and let you in. That's just what
I don't want to go.
That's just what if you don't want to go, then you don't want to chill at the gate. But that's just what I believe. You know what I'm saying? So to sum it all up, it's just a religion. Like, my daughter went to Catholic school. She went to St. Bernard's. I thought, honestly, for Derek's point, I thought that cool. Send her to Catholic school. We don't gotta do it. She knows she's gonna go to school. She's gonna learn that. So I thought that I was doing a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You go to church every day. You know what I'm saying?
Catholic school.
But it's all influence. A lot of stuff is influence. You know what I mean? And from her hanging, I'm not gonna throw this person out there, but from her being around a certain someone that doesn't believe in God, I remember my daughter was like 15, and I could kind of see the influence going on. So I'm like, hey, let me ask you something. You believe in God? She said, hair is going, stand up, and I got scared. I don't know why. I just got scared, like inside scared. Like somebody just scared the hell out of me. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say, that's your mind doing it, you're focusing on this and that, cool. But not really, because I'm not sitting here looking for a frightful feeling for my daughter not believing in God. You know what I'm saying? That's actually a time where we can teach, or we can, you know what I mean, learn more about. But I couldn't because I was paralyzed with fear. Second time I ever been paralyzed with that fear is when my niece told me the same thing. She don't believe in God. I don't know. It's just this feeling that something's not right. You know what I'm saying? And it's that same feeling that people get when they're like, damn, something ain't right. I gotta go home.
Yeah.
And they go home and they find whoever on the floor, and if it was 2 minutes later, they would have been gone. So my whole compass about God and religion is like mind, body, soul thing. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying as far as, you know, your mind and you're doing this, but I personally, this is my opinion. It don't mean nothing, right? This is my butthole. But I think that you're giving yourself too much credit. And you're not giving enough credit to the Most High or whatever, the universe, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I think about when I hear people say that, nah, man, we're God and we can do this, and me, and it's me. That's all I hear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's more stuff going to it, but I just feel like it's like, I did this, God didn't do this, I did this, I will do this, I did that. You know what I mean? Again, nothing wrong with it, because if that's working for you, why stop? You know what I'm saying? But that's just my personal opinion. And I'm not shitting on you. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. You're sharing.
I'm just saying.
I respect it.
Because everybody on this side kind of believes, so I have to just.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
Like we all said, we're not here to force nothing. I'm actually here to learn. I learned a lot, and I learned that I got patience. Because I'm sitting here like shaking it. You know what I'm saying? My spirit is like, man, just leave. But
It's the AC.
but you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm gonna pass the mic to him.
All right. I can still get my haircut tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Thank God.
Inshallah.
No, to go back to what you were saying, you know, the closing up. For me, what gets me through is something I ask all the time: is what is life trying to teach me right now? Instead of looking at myself as a victim, it's what is this trying to teach me? That allows me to kind of break down, whether it's a challenge, break it down and allow me to find solutions. But that's kind of, I can speak for another hour, but that's kind of how I operate on a daily basis. Is what is life trying to teach me? What can I learn from this moment here? And how can I apply what I've just learned in this moment to make sure I'm not running into the same mistake, issue?
Mr. Johnson, what you got?
I think like a lot of subjects, I almost feel fake. What I mean by that is I have so much interest in both sides. You know, like I have, and it's not even just religion. Like a lot. You know, there's so much to life. I think to just have one view, you know, and I don't think religion's any different, which is why. So there's just so much to there's just so much to life, and there's so many parts to life, and for me it's hard. I get a lot of analysis paralysis with like everything, right? Like it's hard for me to take. There are a few things in a more moral base where I have hard stances, but outside of that, you know, when it comes to interpretations and perceptions and you know, those sorts of topics, it's really hard for me to take a solid stance because I want to learn about everything and I want to have these ideas and I want to be open, you know, to proving and disproving. And so when it comes to religion, you know, I do lean towards, the facts say that there isn't a God, right? That's what my heart says. But I will absolutely allow for some of the stuff that can't be explained, right? Like you hit on, there are some things in this world that we can't explain, right? And so it's not that I'm automatically assigning them to a higher being, but I'll allow for it, right? Like I'm not going to close that off. So it really feels to me like it is almost like you know, like I don't want to pick a side, right? Like and I think this is too broad of a topic for me to do that. My gut does tell me that, you know, if I don't see it, then it does make it really hard for me to believe it. It's not about the proving or disproving. It's like that's just how my brain works, right? Like if I can't prove it with logic, then I'm kind of just like whatever. And that's for me when it comes to religion. Like, you know, there are so many experiences that do have a why that I've felt, and there's so many experiences that I've heard where I can come up with a why. And so that's why I lean more towards, you know, I really get that perspective, and I really appreciate that perspective of like the you know, it's not God, it's me, right? Like it's me, and sort of dispelling God. Like that's a really interesting take. And you know, and even as you were saying that, I was like, wow, that's really good. Like that's a really great perception. And on the other side, I was thinking, all right, well, you know, it boils down to what about the other gods, right? Like, and so for me, I think it's if I'm on this side of the fence about God versus no God, I'm almost watching like a whole bunch of different gods, and I'm kind of just like, well, you guys need to discuss and like who's the real one, like, because okay, all right, I'm gonna believe that there is a God, right? So I'll give it to Buddhism, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, and you know, Christianity, Catholicism. And I understand your point about like that's all religion, so it doesn't, like, it's all shit, right? Like that's you're focusing on the wrong thing, Derek. Like again, I'll allow for that. But for me, it's like because I put that all under one umbrella, and that's no one has figured that out, and no one in this world has died more than because of religion, right? Like that's, I can't look past that. As the logic in me can't look past, well, it's like, you guys still haven't figured anything out, right? So when you figure it out, then come talk to me. Because I'll still allow for it, my door is still open. But I haven't found a reason in my heart to hear it out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So that's sort of how I feel. Like I'll allow for it, but I haven't seen anything that has made me say like, oh, okay, yeah, let me sit down and really get this.
For me, I'd just say, you know, a lot of my perspective has changed in the last year or so. I do believe in God, and I believe in what Larry was talking about. I just choose not to call him Jesus Christ. And, you know, just Larry's same point, that means, or Jesus means Hail Zeus, and everything. When I was doing my own research or following research that people have done, and again, I'm not naive to the point where I give blind faith, because I know that research is there because someone put it there, you know, whoever did that, and everything. But I do like the idea, you know, and I find it an interesting idea how you just mentioned, you know, the many gods. You know, somebody told me today at work, oh, I follow Greek mythology, and my response to them was, well, it's only mythology because that's what they let us to believe, and everything. And they're like, yeah, to me it's not mythology. They just called it Greek mythology. Well, if that's what you believe, then it's not mythology. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, it's just being open to all of it and everything. I believe in what I believe in. I can't say no one will change my mind, because within the last year, my mind has changed in some of what I've been looking into, which is why I'm telling you, look into these people, because you'll see some very interesting things. And I'm not saying you'll leave your faith or your religion, but it'll at least broaden, you know, give you a broader, you know, horizon, for example, or something. It's all interesting stuff to understand, whether you believe in him or you don't believe in the creator or not. It's all interesting stuff. So, that's all I got.
For those of you who tune in to us, we appreciate it. I think it's only fitting for me to end this episode with peace and blessings on to you. We'll see you again, episode 11, very soon. Maybe in another state, but we'll see you again very soon. Thank you.
Maybe on Zoom.
True.